You are not ready for what I'm about to show you. I just got back from the most surreal, intense, and utterly mind-blowing day of my life. I was deep in the Thar Desert in Rajasthan, India, baking under the sun, my boots sinking into the ochre sands when I met a tribe that literally dances with death. They call themselves the Kalbeliya, but outsiders, locals even whisper about them as the Cobra Gypsies. And yes, they live with cobras, real ones, hooded, hissing, venomous. Not in cages, not in glass boxes, but in cloth baskets and sometimes, swear to God, just hanging out near their feet like it's the most normal thing in the world. How did I end up here? Well, it started like most of my insane adventures through a whispered tip from a fixer in Jaipur. If you want the real Rajasthan, he told me, don't go where the tourists go. Go where the snakes dance. So I packed a small bag, booked a motorbike, and rode for 7 dusty hours straight into the desert. I followed GPS coordinates that barely held a signal. No signs, no villages on the map, just wind and sun and the occasional camel staring at me like I owed it money. When I finally arrived at a small nomadic encampment, I was greeted by a boy no older than 10 with coal-lined eyes, a scarf around his head and a cobra draped casually over his shoulders like a fashion accessory. That was my first taste of how unreal this day would become. This is the Kalbeliya, India's nomadic snake charmers. For centuries, they've roamed the deserts of Rajasthan, living in temporary tents made of tarps, bright fabric, and rope. They don't believe in permanent homes. They follow the rhythm of the earth, they told me. Their main claim to fame is that they were the original snake handlers of India. Before zoos, before anti-venom, before snake parks, if someone was bitten by a cobra or if a snake appeared in a home, people didn't call the police, they called the Kalbeliya. And I swear, after what I saw later that night, I believed them. They don't just catch snakes, they raise them, train them, perform with them, and believe that they share a spiritual bond with them. One elder told me, the cobra is not our enemy. It's our brother. We understand each other. We move together. We breathe together. So this is what a typical day looks like. We wake up early, have some tea, then head out to the desert to meet our snake friends. This is the most mesmerizing dance I have ever seen. By sunset, the entire vibe had changed. The air cooled, the fire was lit, and then the music began. Sharp, winding sounds from the punji, a traditional wind instrument accompanied by a hypnotic beat from the dafli, a hand drum. And then they started to dance. Out stepped the women of the tribe in jet-black dresses embroidered with mirrors, swirling skirts and an impossible elegance. They twirled, they bent backwards, they spun like whirlwinds. Their dance was sensual, dangerous, and mesmerizing. They were mimicking the movements of the cobra. I found myself holding my breath for minutes at a time. These women are not just dancers. They are priestesses of danger. One of them, Rekha, whispered to me during a break, "The dance is our identity. People think we dance for the tourists. No, we dance for the snakes. We dance for the gods." In India, there is a tribe that lives with venomous snakes. I went to meet them. I joined them for their evening meal of roasted millet bread, green chili chutney, and sweet masala tea. The men of the tribe had just finished milking their cows. The women were busy making jewelry out of cowrie shells. And soon we would be sharing stories around the fire. Someone passed around a local opium mix, which I politely declined. And then they started telling me about their daily routine with cobras. They feed them, bathe them, play music to keep them calm. And every single adult in the camp has been bitten by a snake, some multiple times. They showed me the scars on their hands and ankles. They told me their stories of near death, of going black, of being saved by ancient Kalbeliya remedies. One man even claimed he can sense the venom in his bloodstream and meditate it away. I couldn't see the venom, but I could see the truth in his eyes. His name is Gabar, and he's a member of the snake charmers tribe in India. Not everything is romantic. Though the Kalbeliya way of life is under threat. Modern India has laws protecting snakes, and keeping cobras is now illegal. Performances are regulated. Younger Kalbeliya are moving to cities. They're abandoning their traditions to work in factories or as drivers. What happens to a snake charmer with no snakes? One man asked me, staring into the fire. That question haunted me. I spent the day with the Kalbeliya, a nomadic tribe in India whose members are known as snake charmers. I watched them perform, and I saw a living, breathing culture dancing on the edge of extinction. It's a beautiful, haunting performance, but it's not just about the snakes. It's about the people, the culture, the music, the dance. It's about the connection between humans and animals. It's about respect for nature. It's about tradition and history. It's about a way of life that's disappearing. And I want to share that with you because I think it's important for us to understand and appreciate the different ways that people live in our world. We have to understand that there are other ways of living that are just as valid as our own. We have to learn from each other and respect each other's cultures. Otherwise, we'll lose something beautiful. Did I just find the real Indiana Jones? Because this is me. And let me tell you something, you are not ready for what I'm about to share today. I was deep in the Thar Desert in Rajasthan, India, when I met a tribe that literally dances with death. They call themselves the Kalbeliya, but outsiders whisper about them as the Cobra Gypsies. And yes, they live with cobras. Real ones, hooded, hissing, venomous. Not in cages, not in glass boxes, but in cloth baskets and sometimes just hanging out near their feet, like it is the most normal thing in the world. Meet the Kalbeliya, India's nomadic snake charmers. For centuries, they've roamed the deserts, living in temporary tents and traveling with their snakes. The women dance with them, the men charm them. They have a deep connection with these snakes, a bond that I couldn't understand, but I witnessed firsthand. Sadly, their way of life is disappearing. It's illegal to keep snakes in India now, and performances are banned. Soon, there may be no snake charmers left. This is incredible India. So when are you coming to India? This is where things get real. If you thought the first day with the Kalbeliya Cobra Gypsies was intense, just wait until you hear what happened when I woke up in their camp at sunrise. I've traveled through over 60 countries, and I've never seen a morning like this one. The sky was still dark blue when I unzipped my tent. And there they were, 3 Kalbeliya men kneeling in the sand, heads bowed to a circle of baskets. One of them, an elder named Rafiq, looked at me and said, "Come, the snakes must be greeted." So I did, and what I saw next was like something out of a dream. 6 cobras silently swaying, rising out of their baskets, hoods held high like ancient monks. Then Rafiq played a tune on his punji, and the cobras responded by raising their hoods in unison. It was a moment of pure magic. Later, I joined Rika and her sister Lada for breakfast. And wouldn't you know it, a cobra had snuck into the tent. Lada didn't panic. She simply hummed a tune, clicked her tongue, and the cobra slid into a basket. Every Kalbeliya has a tattoo of a coiled serpent on their hand or ankle, a symbol of their bond with snakes. And getting the tattoo is no easy feat. They use thorns and lamp soot and tap the ink into their skin with a bone pick. So yeah, it's painful, but it's all for the art. This is the story of a forbidden game. I spent 2 days with the Kalbeliya tribe in Rajasthan, India, and they showed me something they don't normally show tourists. A cobra challenge, a duel between man and snake. The rules are simple. The Kalbeliya man must stare directly into the eyes of a 9-foot Indian cobra and play a haunting tune on his flute. If he breaks eye contact or drops his flute, he loses. But why? Why do they do this? According to Rafiq, it's a test of manhood. You have to feel the bite of the snake to prove you're worthy of its venom. And if you survive, you get to wear its skin as a badge of honor. It's a beautiful and terrifying tradition, but I can't help but think how dangerous it is. How many young men have died before they had a chance to grow up? If you want to hear more about the Kalbeliya and their fascinating relationship with snakes, stay tuned. This isn't just a story about snakes. It's about a people fighting to keep their identity alive. But there's a dark side to their story. One that involves exploitation, trafficking, and a dramatic escape with a cobra inside a backpack. This part shook me. In Jaipur and Pushkar, I saw snake charmers on the street, posing with tourists, charging for photos, dancing to auto-tuned Bollywood tracks. They looked Kalbeliya, but when I asked them where they were from, they dodged the question. Turns out many of these performers aren't Kalbeliya at all. They're hired by middlemen who steal the image of the tribe to sell to tourists. Worse, many of the snakes used in these acts are drugged, their fangs pulled out, their glands removed. It's abuse, plain and simple, and the Kalbeliya hate it. They make us look like clowns, Rekha said. We never defang snakes. That's like cutting our own tongue. The girl with the cobra bag. Now here's where it gets wild. Aka's cousin Chanda was once sold to a performance company at age 13. They told her she'd be famous. Instead, she was taken to a circus-like compound and forced to dance with defanged snakes for foreigners. 7 shows a day, no pay. One night she stole one of the last healthy cobras and escaped through the desert on foot, hiding the snake in her backpack, wrapped in a towel soaked with milk. She walked for 2 days before collapsing near a Kalbeliya camp. They took her in, saved the snake, and now she trains young girls in traditional Kalbeliya dance, making sure no one goes through what she did. She showed me the snake. It's still alive. Its name is Azadi, freedom. I have to say goodbye. I woke up this morning knowing I had to say goodbye. And if I'm being honest, I didn't want to. I came here for a story. But I'm leaving with something much deeper. A sense of connection. Danger, grace, and a culture I now feel responsible for sharing with the world. The women prepared one last meal: pearl millet pancakes with jaggery and cardamom, and the strongest desert tea I've ever had. The kids ran through the sand, chasing each other with empty cobra baskets. Lada handed me a scarf, hand-embroidered with mirrors. "So you remember our son," she said. Rekha pressed something into my palm. It was a small carved cobra made of sandalwood, no longer than my thumb. She told me, "This is your protection. You showed respect." The snake remembers. And then something I didn't expect. They offered to give me a Kalbeliya tattoo. I said yes. They used the same thorn and ash method, drawing a coiled snake on my left ankle. It hurt. It bled. But I wore that pain with pride. "This makes you one of us," Rafiq said. "Not Kalbeliya by blood, but Kalbeliya by spirit." As I rode away on that dusty road, the wind burned my face. I looked back only once to see a cobra rise from a basket, hood flared, almost as if it was watching me leave. I don't know what it meant. Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. But here's what I do know. The Kalbeliya are not just snake charmers. They are poets of danger, dancers of death, survivors. And if this world forgets them, it loses something ancient, wild, and irreplaceable.